Hello. We're gonna go, or we're gonna start here in just a second. I'm just gonna double check the link and, oh, I need to. Got some audio troubles here. Where's my audio coming? Oh, I wonder if it's on. Is it YouTube? Let's see here. That's strange. Getting the audio coming back from somewhere. I'm not sure where. All right, I'm gonna stop and start again. Oh, I bet I know what it is. I bet it's this custom chat window. I bet that's it. Okay, yeah, that was it. Okay. And I was trying to figure out how to do an easy way to show chat, like custom chat. Geez, I can't talk tonight. I was trying to figure out how to show YouTube chat over screen share, and I was following a tutorial about how to pop out the YouTube chat window and make like a custom browser window for OBS, but that was playing audio, so that doesn't work. All right, I'm gonna call up Katie here and share a link, and then we will get started. Let's see here. And I think we figured out how to do this properly. So I'm gonna share my desktop and let's see if she answers. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me just watch the levels quick again if you keep talking.
Well, my mic has the red light on it as if it's muted.
That might be a red light that just shows that it's actually listening. It
Okay.
it
Okay.
definitely is working, and it sounds like a good quality mic. So
Okay. So it's not my crap mic from my computer.
yeah. All right. Now let's see here. Now I'm gonna pop you out, and I'm gonna turn my camera off, and I'm gonna fire some things up here. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. And then I'm just going to tweet an update now that we're live. Oh. Someday I'm going to figure all of this stuff out. And it will just work. Okay, and that's still muted. Nice. Okay. All right. So, have some kind of cool updates to show. Last time I streamed, I did kind of a presentation about the method that I had come up with for doing livery, like how TIE Fighter and X-Wing, the classic games from the 1990s that implemented it. What I'm kind of trying to do this year here is I've been working on this game as kind of a hobby, as a sort of one aspect of my big sci-fi world project. But I've kind of gotten to a point where I need to actually finish this thing in some way or another. And I think the best way to do that, or move towards doing that, is to just kind of start checking things off. So while I had enjoyed for a couple of years now just kind of working on whatever I felt like, things are coming together, and I've been working on a list of different content that I need. I think I streamed some of the very first work I did on this when we looked at the TIE Fighter manual at the different types of ships and how many there were. So this is a spreadsheet that I made in Google Sheets that has all of my different content that I have at least started or know that I want to have for the game, and some of the different aspects of things, both sort of world building things that I need to figure out, like descriptions and things, and game content. So a good chunk of this is dedicated to the low poly version of the ship for the game, and then there's another section for the sort of high detail, more realistic blender render mode of each thing. And I've decided to set the high detail stuff aside for a bit and really focus on the game content part. So let me just show some updates on specifically what I've done over the past couple weeks, since it's been a couple weeks since we talked. So yeah, the last thing I was showing was this method for doing livery as kind of a sliced parts of the mesh that were overlaid on top with special settings in the engine and render, so that they always would render on top of whatever parts of the ship they were over. And then the next thing I worked on after that was some cargo and shipping containers, and this might seem like kind of a like not too much to look at, but I felt I was really proud of this. One of the things that I had to figure out here was I wanted to make a shipping container that's the standard shipping container size, so I had to figure out what that was, and then I updated these with some extra details so that in game they'll look more interesting than the simple shapes. And another thing that I did as part of this, which is kind of interesting, I think, is that I had a couple of ships, actually including one that I made on stream, the freighter battleship conversion, that use parts of these containers as part of the structure of the ship. And I actually refactored the code so it's like the same piece of code is used to generate the shipping container model as is used in the ship. So if I change one, the other will change. Actually, I'll just bring up the viewer, and we can look at that maybe without giving away what I'm going to talk about next. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it was kind of a nice bit of headway to make on the project. So yeah, so here you can see that this large tank is the exact same size as this, and same with this. This sort of cylindrical tank is the same exact piece that's used here, and I added a little bit of extra detail. Even the little cargo container has a rim around it, so there'll be some nice shading and stuff when it appears in the game. So that was kind of a fun bit of headway on stuff. And then after that, I unified the weapon models. So in the past, um, I had just sort of individual models sort of randomly saved for some of the weapons, and I rewrote some tools that I use for creating hierarchies of models. I have this special format that I use for the ship models, and I actually updated it so that it can kind of hold multiple hierarchies of files, so you can models, so you can kind of group like things together. And I made one of these uh, sort of, I call it the pickle format because it uses Python's pickle format for all of the weapons, so you can see that you can see those side by side. And just being able to see stuff side by side is kind of helpful because you can kind of compare like things and kind of think what should be the different, or what should be different, or what should be the same about these different designs. And that's helped me to start thinking, kind of thinking bigger picture about some of this. Actually, let me just, my layout got a bit screwed up here somehow. Okay, so there was that, and then this work though was kind of towards starting to actually get weapons on all the ships. So I have a number of fighter designs. They're all kind of in a state of half completion, and having this spreadsheet now, I'm like, I need to start checking these off. So started working on one of the oldest designs, the Flèche, which is French for arrow, and redesigned the fuselage, kind of with some of the things that I've learned since I first built the tools that I used to make the ship. I added actual hardpoints, so instead of the weapons just being stuck onto it in the game, there's hardpoint geometry that the weapons attach to. I added little RCS thruster blocks, because and after I did this, I kind of realized I should really move towards a style where there's a little bit more detail in the game model. So I'm still trying to keep this low poly aesthetic, but I want everything to have a little bit more detail, have a little bit more actual models for different components. And this goes with stuff that I've already built in the game. So the game has the capability to keep track of like different subcomponents of ships with separate models. So I think I decided to start doing it. Then I was working on this ship. I'm not good at French, so this word for the ship, it's the French word for shark. I think it's kind of pronounced something like requin. I'm gonna just call it shark. So the shark, I redesigned so that the radiators, instead of having two radiators pointing at each other, which didn't make sense, there's one on the top and one on the bottom, and I started adding actual geometry for thrusters. Came up with a cool design where it has these forward-facing sensors and little shield rings, and this looks really nice in the game. Started doing the same thing for this Spire ship as well, and actually something that I don't have in my my presentation here that you'll see when we look at this is I also added comm arrays. So all of these ships should have some kind of antennas or something on them that are functional. And I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of researching what antennas on spacecraft and airplanes look like. And something like this is kind of what I came up with for what these ships should have. So aircraft typically have antennas that are mounted on their upper and lower surface, and they're usually swept back. These wouldn't need to be swept back the way my ships work. Being aerodynamic isn't a concern for multiple reasons, but having a couple above as well as below, in space, you'd get this coverage. So uh, rod-shaped antennas kind of are able to broadcast out and around, but not straight out from the antenna. So having a few of them would hopefully get some kind of coverage that could allow ships like this to communicate with other ships or a carrier or something, somewhat independent of the orientation and position. So this is what the final, more or less final first pass for the Shark looks like. And I'm really excited about this because this is one of those things where I sort of put off doing this, but when I actually sat down and kind of forced myself to figure out where all these components should go in a way that makes sense, the result looks really cool. So my ships don't have cockpit windows because these ships would either be drones or like in my case, for my story that I'm trying to tell, they will have human pilots, but there's no real reason to have windows. Like when the ships have cameras and sensors and different things that would allow the pilot to see outside, so you don't need windows. So they have this kind of blank look without your typical cockpit. But actually figuring out sensible locations for these thrusters, sensor arrays. So the idea here is that these would be something like forward-facing, like optical instruments or other types of sensors, and this would be a pair of sensors that faces upward and a pair of sensors that faces downward. It gives it a lot of detail and actually started making it look a little bit more formidable. So that was really exciting. These hexagonal pieces are shield rings, and I think originally when I came up with this design, these I intended to be thrust rings. So in my setting, this sort of magic drives and shield generators are all shaped like discs or cylinders. I think now these are going to become shield rings, and the idea is that shield rings can kind of project a hemispherical shield. So these big sort of wing-looking things are areas where you could mount additional weapons and missiles and stuff, and you'd have really heavy shield coverage over the front, or like kind of over the top of the wing area, over the front of the ship, and in the rear here as well. So I am pretty excited about this because I feel like I'm keeping the low poly aesthetic here, but coming up with something that looks a lot more interesting. I haven't worked too much more on the flesh yet, but something that we might do tonight with some live coding is start adding some antennas and shields to this. So I have a little bit different, this kind of maybe more old school looking RCS thruster design on this ship. So here on the Shark we have these sort of triangular little arrays, and I've got 8 of them. Here we have 4 of these smaller ones. And then the Needle was actually the ship that was previously the most complete with hardpoints, and it has a couple of thrusters kind of that are important to the design that are built in, but I need to add more shield rings to it. So that could also be something we'd work on. And then here's the spire. So this is the newest fighter design, which I had which I'd actually worked on stream, and I think Doug Wise was here. I saw him in the chat. Was here when I I designed this, so we were talking about it. And so here's kind of the complete design. It's got the swept back antennas. The real thing probably wouldn't have three guns mounted on it like this all the time. It would probably only have one, and then maybe a couple missiles. But just wanted to test having things on the hard points. And then it's got shields in the rear and in the front. And I might actually slap another couple shield rings on it here in the middle at some point. So that looks pretty cool. So yeah, so I think on the docket for today, I'm kind of thinking adding some details to these two. I also have the owl. This is a design that I did in last September, and this is supposed to look like kind of like an older design. I did actually do a lot of work when I made it to sort of place a lot of components, so we'll see where I can fit some other things. So in the chat here, Doug Wise says, will you be plotting let's see if I can pop this out. So he says, will you be plotting calculating shield hemisphere coverage based on the actual ship geometry? Or are they more conceptual and implemented differently within the game? Yeah, so I think it's more conceptual. So the idea in universe would be that the shield generators kind of create a sort of hemispherical or can create sort of a hemispherical shield, but like when you have multiple generators that are sort of tuned the same way, they would end up making a like a merged shape that kind of has a surface to it, so that would sort of surround the ship. So currently what I'm doing in the game is I have a sort of scaled sphere, so it makes sort of like an oval shape around it. I can actually show what that looks like. The shaders are a little bit goofy right now for shields on my Mac. I haven't had a chance to fix them. Eventually, though, what I would like to do is I would like to calculate something that is more like custom to the ship for each ship. So the problem with the scaled spheres is that they have like this oval shape where, like for this ship, for example, and actually let me just check. I think I might actually have the geometry for them here. Yeah, so let me just see if I can figure out how to show this here. Blender has like two or three different ways to show things that are all kind of independent from each other, and there we go. No, that's not it. Disability. There we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and the scaling. Yeah, the scaling is currently messed up. But it would look something like this. Actually, here I'll just show it again. Yeah, so it would look something like if I scale it up this way and then scale it up this way. So it ends up being like way too long in the back. So I'd rather have something that, you know, this is going to be really rough, but, you know, would rather have something that, you know, is more, you know, smooth, but kind of matches the shape of the ship. Yeah. Yeah. And again, like in universe, they would probably not be as smooth. They would probably, you know, look more like sort of a, you could see lobes kind of surrounding the different protrusions or whatever of the ship. But, you know, that would be maybe a compromise for the game, just to simplify things, just to keep the shape simpler. So, yeah. The idea, though, is they do make kind of a surface, and you would want um, maybe heavier shields towards the front of the ship, and maybe lighter shields towards the back around the radiators. Um, I haven't quite decided yet how magic the shields are, if they just magically let heat from the radiators out. I think, Doug, we were talking to the other time about, you know, where the heat from the radiators goes, if it goes to if it actually goes out into the world, or if it goes to a magical dimension. That's something I'm still wrestling with a little bit, but the idea in general would be, I think you'd sort of more heavily shield the front of the ship, and then you know, there would be sort of lesser shield coverage, whatever that meant, whatever that means exactly, over the radiators. So you'd want to be, you know, during combat, you'd want to be facing into um, like into combat. You wouldn't want stuff on your tail. And that could be actually a neat game mechanic, because I think for the most part, um, you know, like you're kind of toast if your shields are gone. Like you can't take a whole bunch of hits to your hull. Like that's just not a thing. Because the shields are so powerful. Like the weapons are really powerful in my setting, and it's weapons fires mainly about like wearing down the shields, or temporarily overpowering the shields and destroying them. But if you had parts like radiators that were less shielded, or maybe unshielded from certain angles, you could knock a ship out by, you know, um, sort of knocking off or destroying parts, and that might be pretty interesting. So might be a mechanic to explore in the future. So,
Hey, I'm still here and I still love you.
okay, great. I was just gonna ask if I've bored you to tears yet. Katie's working on her own thing, so
Yeah,
what are
doing
you working
editing.
on tonight? You're editing.
Yeah.
Are
Uh,
you in a review?
no, this is that work for our pastor.
Oh, nice, nice. How's that going?
Good. Good. I feel like I'm being useful.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I would just be reading and have nothing to say, or if
Mm-hmm.
uh, some big thesis. So
Yeah.
wants it to be polished.
Yeah.
So I'm on mute so you guys can't hear my clicky clack keyboard.
Yeah, you got your fancy new uh, keyboard, don't you?
It glows.
Why don't you
And it's
why don't you show that off just quick? Or
uh
you
my
probably don't.
camera for the
Your
computer.
is not good.
Well, when I had it on earlier, it was really, really creepy looking. And
Here,
I'm
I'll take you off screen and you can test it out just once, just to see if it looks
okay.
bad or not.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, yeah, you can turn it on.
So I can see my avatar on the YouTube. So if I don't know that you act, there we go. Okay.
Yeah,
Ready?
you're behind a ways. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Oh,
I don't know how to turn that off.
it's using the IR camera.
Yeah. I don't know
So
how to fix that.
you need to drop down your little camera thing and then there you
Oh,
go.
ah, okay. This all right.
All right.
All right.
You're live.
Oh, hi guys. This is my glowy keyboard. You guys want to hear it type?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I think it's suppressing the noise.
Oh no.
Are you typing?
Let's try. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's suppressing the clicking.
Ah, bummer. See, I could have been typing this whole time and you wouldn't have even heard me.
Well, why don't you try it now and see? Okay, I'm gonna turn you off. Doug Wise says clickety clackety, but I can't hear it, so I don't know.
Okay. Oh well.
All right. Uh, are you watching on YouTube?
I have it up. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Doug Wise is just assuming that it's making sound.
It's making a lot of sound. It's very loud.
I can't hear anything, so you can turn your camera back off if you want now. I think I'm gonna jump into some live coding here.
Nice.
Um,
I'll mute myself again just so I don't forget.
I need to add a photo here of the antennas that I did. But yeah, so just going back to our big giant to-do list here. I'd like to get more of these red things yellow. So getting actually getting comms, or not comms, getting sensors on the spire would be cool. And then another thing that we might be able to do is actually making sure that some of these models are actually annotated correctly so they show up in game. So I think that would be a good goal for tonight is we'll slap a couple of sensors like we have on the shark on the spire, and then I think I have a good spot where those can go. I'll just reuse the same models that I have. And maybe I'll do a little refactoring and stuff so that there's a place for those. And then yeah, and then we'll test a couple of these out in the game with the system that we can use to look at different components or subcomponents of the ships in the game. See how it works. Maybe work some bugs out of that. So yeah, let's get into that. And let's just take a look here. So I think we could slap... We'll do... We'll stick a big forward-facing thing right here in the center, maybe scaled up a little bit, and then we'll do some of these pairs of these sensor pairs, like this guy here. Just see what this looks like. I like having Blender be a tool for sort of prototyping, but then actually making things in Python. Yeah, let's see. These should fit. Yeah, this should fit there. So can stick a couple of these on this surface right in there, and then we'll work on getting that stuff in the game. So just gonna check a couple things here quick, and then we will jump into that. Okay, cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of music going here. And I think it's going to turn that down so it's not too loud. Maybe Katie can tell me if the music is too loud compared to my voice. Then we'll get started. Are you still there, Katie?
I'm still here. I don't hear any music though.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe it's just way too quiet. If I... That is really weird. Someday I'm gonna figure this out. Okay. Doug says it's audible. Oh, you're probably not listening on YouTube. You're just on
maybe
Discord.
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I've muted. Okay.
That's what it is. That's fine. Okay. Good. Doesn't have to be super loud.
I'm glad you're here, Doug.
Just want to have a little bit in the background. Okay. So let's make sure that we've got our bench set up. So if I run my workbench here, then we've got our spire here, just in the simple viewer. Good enough for being able to tell. It's what? So I'm gonna this is the code that makes those sensor bits, so I'm going to factor that out into a separate function that I can call. Trying to remember. I wrote this 2 days ago and I have like no memory of how this works. Okay, so I think it's gonna okay. Yeah, okay, there I see the logic. I was having trouble seeing that there for a second. So this things have bad names here. We'll fix that. So subs. This guy is this guy. So we got actually, no, that's right. So, oh, that's what's missing. There's an extra length parameter here on everything that is missing. Yeah, okay. So this one is using the mount length instead of... Yeah, that's what's going on. Alright, that took way longer than it should have, but I think it's done now. We can fix this later. Hopefully we didn't horse up the shark too much. I guess we'll find out. So we'll make a new function for placing the sensors. And gotta sort a lot of this code out. It's okay, we don't have to do that right now. So I have this function here for the spire because everything is in this sort of triangular pattern. I have this function for basically taking some kind of part and given a y-axis along the fuselage of the ship, finding the point where it should be projected to, and then creating the set of parts that basically duplicate that piece 3 times around the ship. So I'm going to use that for placing the sensors. And I think, well, the first thing I got to do is I got to make sure that I just copy this here, and we'll clean this all up when we're done. Okay. These are going to be will be arranged the same way around as those antennas, so we'll use that angle offset, and we'll just say this is Y for now, and that was yeah, it's going to be something probably pretty close to 0. Maybe a little bit forward, so we'll say 0.25. And then we've also got to add the rear sensor. Forward there. And let me just see here for I think think we won't bother running the intersection. I think we can just calculate where it'll go directly, because it'll basically, actually not the rear, I want it in the front. What am I doing? Okay, so front Y is going to be there's a few things that go into calculating where exactly the front of the ship will be coordinate-wise. Yeah, okay, yeah. Length of the nose plus length of the center times 2. So... plus the length of the nose. Here's front. And okay, so we'll just manually add this guy in. Sensor 0, 1, 2, 3. This will just be the single one. Single, and we're not going to bother getting things exactly right here. But we'll just see how things look and we can adjust. So for the translation, we want something like let's see how this looks. This might look really silly. In that case, we can offset it a little bit in the center. Okay, let's try this. Okay, cool. We're on the right track. And let's just check where that front sensor ended up. Did it end up? Okay, 0, 1, 2, fuselage, sensors, 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I need to add the front points. I forgot to add that in. So, let's just move this down so it's a little easier. Front way, right here. let's just take a look at that quick before we go on. Oh, wrong way. Okay, yeah, that's basically what I was expecting. Just a little nub at the front there. And then, so now what we have to do with these is, all we have to do is we just have to angle them. So this thing is expecting the parts that we're placing to be oriented a specific way before they're placed. So it's expecting the part that we want to be facing out to be Z. And these actually no, I think so these are oriented in Y. So we first gotta undo that, and we also have to do another rotation. So let's see if we can, there'll be some different ways to do that here. I'm gonna actually just do it after the fact by adding in rotations beforehand. So K in sensors parts, sensors parts K, transformation rotation, and then actually we can grab the whole transformation here. This kind of discovered this way of doing this last night. It works pretty well. It's pretty clear to tell what's going on too. So now we want to basically prepend these rotations. So I want to do a 90-degree around the x-axis, and then a 90-degree around the z-axis. So mu dot 90 first. Let's see if that does it. So yeah, we always compose rotations right to left. So we take the original part, we rotate it, and then it's going to have the rotation applied. Let's see if that fixes it. Perfect. Look at that. Now, one thing about this is it looks a little... Oh, actually, no, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think it just looked taller on the other shit because of the way see if this rib, what height are we doing? We're doing minus the length up to up to the base of the lens. I think makes sense. And let's just double check this. that looks right. We could tweak those out a little bit farther, but I don't think we need to. I think it looks pretty good the way it is. It looks very sleek. And we've got that in the front. Okay, so we've got our sensors. Let's generate the models again, and then we will take a look at this ship in-game and see if all of the components, we can get all the components working with the in-game stuff that deals with that. So So this YAML file kind of defines how the ship's model will be put together. Now, as it stands, we don't have any sensors, and the sensors should just be getting automatically loaded as part of the fuselage. So for starters, let's just check and make sure that that's happening. And yep, we see the antennas, we see the sensors. So it should all be loaded, but those won't be part of the correct components in the game. Oh, and we're gonna have to update the livery for this too. So let's yeah, we'll have to do that as well. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I've made livery for this ship at all, so that's a good thing to work on. Right. Okay, so sensors. Yeah, I do any of. Let's see. So I think sensors is something that I've really neglected. So it's fun to. Do I have? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we need to do here for this, and this isn't necessarily the real name of the sensors. It doesn't matter. The main thing that's important is that we are pulling out the right model, and then we have to exclude the sensors here. And I don't have a separate component type for the comm arrays. That might be something to add sometime soon. But let's see here. So I'm just gonna run this here. Because we should still see everything here, but those things should be categorized differently. Yeah, sensor 0. Mapper array, sensor 0. Yeah. Okay. And then yeah, see these shields are all part of the fuselage. I don't have a separate component for the the shields yet, so that will be something that we'll have to add to. Let's okay, nice. I do actually have livery, so let's take a look at that. Because that's gonna have to be updated now too. So we have the fuselage, the drives. Let's get the sensors in here. And let's just try to get the shields too. So I'm just gonna double check how I did this for. So yeah, this seems like it's gonna work. Sure. Yeah, okay. So oh, that's already that was already there. Okay. Let me think. So here, this was the fuselage thing. Let's see if this works. typo somewhere. Sensors. Let's see, utility. Oh, there. There we go. And 3. So that sensor 0. There we go. Okay. Oh, geez. And there's model. There we go. There we go. And yeah, all right. Almost. That's almost what I want. Our radiator's not working. Let's see here. So children. Oh yeah, that was just redundant. Yeah. Nice. Ooh, that looks really nice. Whoops. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna add the thrusters. The thruster system. Yeah, that's what's missing. So yeah. Looks good. Looks really good. And all right. So let's. Yep. Awesome. So the sensors show up in their components. We've got the drive system, the thrusters, the shield, the guns. Yeah. Sweet. Well, that's awesome. This is the first time that I've really seen like a proper thruster system work. What I want to update things to now is so that the shield, when it's selected, Doug, if you're watching, you could here's what the shield actually looks like. Is instead of showing the shield, is to have it have the components like the shield things. And actually, you know what I could do here, be something that'd be pretty easy to add, would be to add like the model of the thing in this other MFD. Actually, we can get a better look at this stuff too if we take the ship out for a spin. Awesome. And all of these stats are subject to change too. That's sort of the initial stuff that I built out, and you know, I think now that I'm redesigning parts and pieces, and I've got a little bit more fleshed out approach to how things should work, I think that'd be a good next step, just to update the numbers for some of this stuff. So we can take our spreadsheet here now and we can put a dot in there. A lot of these are actually probably going to end up green, but I'm trying to knock out the stuff that I haven't started at all first, so that'll be the next step. And actually I can put, let's see, yeah, I've got weapons on this now. So another thing that I've got to do is LODs, like different levels of detail versions of these, but that's something that is actually really easy to do with my tools, because I can just leave off parts, do lower resolution models, things like that for different levels of detail. So let's just take a look at a couple of different ships in the carrier, see what is working and what isn't. So let's just see here. Whew, that's bright. Oh, that's the, I bet that's the pink livery. Yeah, that's the pink. I made that for my daughter because she wanted the ship to be pink. I thought I goofed that up. I goofed up something because I was digging around with the materials a little bit. Okay. And semi array drive. Yeah, TS. And see, these two big shapes are going to be part of the shield system rather than the thruster system. And two cannons. Yeah. Oh man, it looks really cool to see individual parts of things highlighted like that. And this, I'm not sure. I don't know if I added the thrusters correctly to this yet. And it has this, I have turrets attached to it, which doesn't make sense right now, but yeah, and I've got the old mapper array, which needs to be replaced. The radiator should not be part of the drive. Yeah, I didn't add the thruster parts to the system yet, so that's something that will have to be updated. This one actually also needs proper weapon placement on the hard point. So I added a couple of hard points. It needs another hard point down below here. You can see there's a third thing that's just floating there. And the weapons need to be adjusted so that they're properly being placed on the hard points. But that's something that is way easier to do now with some of the changes that I made as well. And let's take a look at the needle. One thing that I like about the needle is I did actually put these low temperature radiators on the drives. That might be something that I actually add to the other ships before I... This crashes for some reason on when it switches to the shield or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Or actually no, I think it's the common ray because I don't think I have one on here. That's almost certainly what it is. Yeah, I don't have a common ray on here at all. So all right, well, I think we made some good headway here. Next steps for me are just, continuing to fill in more of this spreadsheet. And what I'm probably going to be doing is kind of searching for different abstractions that I can use for some of this stuff. If you end up writing a bunch of code that really looks similar for sticking the different kinds of parts onto similar places on the different ships, and I like to write out that stuff a few times before I try to refactor it and rewrite it, because I don't want to build the wrong abstractions. But now that it's been done a bunch of times, I think I could probably do it and use some of that. And I do have, for a lot of these ships, I do have code that places some of these components for the high detail models, but I kind of want to revisit it for low detail models, so I think that's something that I should do. I don't want to rely too much on previous work. I want to kind of take this as an opportunity to refresh things. So well, that's where things are at. Thanks, Doug, for coming to hang out. Katie, do you have anything else that you want to say before I stop the stream for tonight?
No, I don't think so.
All
Good
right.
job.
Well, thanks everyone again for watching, and we'll be back sometime soon for more.
Love ya. And
Bye.
everybody else, bye. Bye. Bye.